So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to crochet a Christmas cardigan. Super easy, hopefully. I'm expecting this to be super easy. And also something to keep in mind is that you don't need to do this only for Christmas. You can actually change the theme and do maybe with flowers, appliques, and change the colors of the squares. I'm doing this for Christmas because now it's Christmas time and I get super excited about Christmas, and I've always wanted to do something for Christmas time here on the channel, and I'm always late, like now. I'm going to be using, as usual, a small pair of scissors, a tapestry needle to sew my squares together. I'm using a 4mm hook. The main yarn that I'm going to be using will be this super big yarn right here that I love from Tassyland. This one is going to be all the ribbings and some of the squares on the cardigan too. And for all of the other shades, I am using all of these yarns right here, as you can see. You can use any color you want. I am going to be adding all of the yarns that I'm using in today's video in the description below. I don't know yet how much yarn I've used because I'm kind of creating little by little, but for all of these yarns, they were all new. So I bought them all new from Amazon and from Tassyland as well. And most of these are 100 grams. Only this one that it's bigger, this one is 500. And for the squares and the triangles, for my size, I'm doing 48 squares plus 2 triangles here for the front, because I kind of wanted to do more like a V-neck kind of, but let's see how it's gonna work. I'm not sure if it's gonna work. I never done that before. I still have to create 12 squares, so I'm not finished with the squares yet, but I'm going to be finishing today. And I also have right here all of the little appliques that we are going to be sewing some of these appliques into the square, in which I am going to be showing you how to sew them in place. And that's super simple. You just put it together and then sew all the way around. But I am going to be showing you that. And for the squares, another thing that I want to mention that I nearly forgot, I'm doing 14.5 centimeters by 14.5, which is 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches. So it is a large square, kind of. It's not like a super tiny square. So I'm only going to be doing, for the length of my cardigan, I'm only doing 4 squares. So that's why I wanted to make it kind of like a little bit bigger, so I didn't need to make a lot of squares. And how you're going to be making it custom made to your size. You're going to be getting the length that you want. So you're going to be measuring a length. And with the length, you're going to be dividing it by the amount of square that you want for the length. I wanted 4, so I got the length and then I divided by 4, and that gave me a number in which was the sizing for my squares, which was 5.5 inches. So that's how you're going to be finding the sizing that you want, because I know that some of you want to keep the same amount of squares that I do, so that's how you're going to be finding the sizing for your square. So what I'm going to be doing now is just continuing here, finishing all of the squares that I have to do. Once I have all of the squares completed, I will be back. We are going to be laying all the squares flat here on my floor, and we are going to be sewing everything together to create our cardigan, our Christmas cardigan. I'm super excited. So let's go.
Day 2.
All right, so day 2 now. I'm here with a little cup of coffee because it's morning, so good morning. Today is day 2 of me putting everything together, and I have right here all of the squares already completed. I will let you know how many I have for each color. And also I have all the appliques here with me, because now we are going to be sewing the appliques in place before we attach all the squares together. So as you can see, I have 2 triangles, so you do have to choose which color you want. So I decided on this kind of gray brown here, and then the gold one to be the triangle. So these 2 will be the 2 triangles that will go at the front. So for all of the other colors, these ones here, I have 6 squares in total for each of the colors, as you can see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then for the white and for the beige here, I have 4 for the beige, 2 with appliques on top, and then the other 2 are blank because I will probably sew the Christmas tree on these ones here, because I think that color matches really well the Christmas tree. And then this one, if you are wondering, I got this pattern from the internet, and also there are some tutorials on YouTube as well, so I will link that in the description if you want to check it out. So I didn't want to do a tutorial on this one because there is already a lot on YouTube. So I have right here 48 squares, as I have mentioned, plus 2 triangles. And now we are going to be sewing the appliques on top of these squares here. I'm not going to be doing all of them with appliques, as you already can tell. I'm only going to be using these appliques here because I wanted to have like a mixture of appliques and also a few blank squares as well. And I still have to decide which square I'm going to be sewing these ones here, because all of these 3 already have squares, as you can see. That was my shoulder. So for the Christmas tree, I'm going to be sewing on top of this one right here. And then for the hat, I think I'm going to be doing on top of this one or this one, I'm not sure. For the gingerbread, I'm definitely going to be putting in here because it does contrast really well. So I'm going to be doing the hat here, and then this one and this one will be plain. So now I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to be sewing the appliques on top here of the squares. All right, so let's go. Cheers. So I'm going to be getting a little bit of the same yarn as the applique. So I have right here my brown yarn. You want to take a little bit, but you want to take enough to go around your applique. So you have to guess. If it's not enough, then you can just fasten off and then continue with a new yarn. So I'm going to be threading my needle here with my yarn, as you can see, and we are going to be using a double yarn. I'm going to be making a knot right at the end, and we are going to be cutting the ends off right here. Also, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'll probably be bringing out some pins. So here they are. So I'm just going to be pinning in place here my gingerbread man. Once you've done that, you're going to be going to the back here of the square. And then we are going to be kind of creating a little fasten off here at the back, very close to a stitch that you can go back into and then sew it in place. So maybe right here, you go through that stitch and then you just go through the end of the yarn here, and that's going to fasten off here at the beginning of the sewing. So now you're going to be taking the needle to the front and grabbing a little stitch here from the gingerbread man, your applique. And how we are going to be sewing all the way around is just grabbing the next stitch, and then you're going to be going all the way through, taking the tapestry needle to the back and then sewing that in place. And now we're going to be bringing the tapestry needle back to the front by grabbing a little stitch from here, the square, and a little stitch from the applique, and then sewing the 2 together. And that's how we sew the applique all the way around. So you're just going to be repeating the same steps all the way around. And another way you can do it's by having the yarn here at the front, and then you're gonna go through a stitch. You want to make sure that you grab a stitch here from the square, and then you're going to be bringing the needle back to the front and then sew all of these together, and that's going to maintain your yarn always here at the front, so it's a little bit faster to sew the applique in place. So this is something that you can also do. It's gonna be up to you how you want to do this. I am getting here towards the end of the sewing. So right here is the end, and you just want to take the tapestry needle to the back right here once you've finished. See, yeah, I'm finished right here. And then you're going to be taking it here to the back, and then we are going to be choosing a stitch here at the back. We are gonna go through this stitch here 3 times. So 1, 2, and then the third one, we are going to be creating a little loop here at the end, and then we are gonna go through the loop, and that's going to fasten off here the end. What I like to do just to secure a little bit more in place is just cutting a little bit of the yarn like this. And then what we do, we move this yarn into another stitch, one of the yarns, and then right here we make a knot. And then I cut my yarn right here. And while you're here, you can already weave in all of these yarns here too. Make sure that the middle here is nice and tight. And then you're just gonna go through here a couple of stitches. And then once you've done that, you're going to be doing exactly what we did here at the end. So go through this stitch twice, and then one last time, go through the loop, and then fasten off. Super easy. And then I do the same with this one here. So here we go. This is how we sew the appliques on top of the squares. So what I'm going to be doing now is just sewing all of the other appliques on top of my squares, and then when I have them completed, I will be back, and then we are going to be starting to sew all of the squares in place to create our cardigan, our Christmas cardigan. So as we can see right here, I have all of my squares with the appliques. They are all sewed together, and also I have weaved all the ends here from my square. So I have all of them completed and ready to start sewing it together. So I cannot wait to start. I have here my planning right in place, so I know exactly how many squares I'm doing for the back and the front, and then you will see here what I'm doing. So first I'm just going to be laying it flat here, my triangles. So I'll need 2 here at the front. So now I'm going to be adding here the ones with the appliques. I'm not sure how I want to do yet, but let's just see. So once you have decided where you want the appliques to go, we are going to be filling out the spaces with the plain squares. I'm just gonna go around and decide where they are gonna go, and then I can fix a little bit later if I need to.
2,000 years later.
All right, so this one is going to be the front of my cardigan, and what we are going to need now are the pins here, because we are going to be pinning this all together, putting the 2 here together, and then I just pin it so they are not going to be moving. So I'm just going to go ahead and pin this. Remember that you're not pinning here in the middle because this is the front. And what we are going to be doing now, it's getting our right side here, the one that you're seeing now, so the right side, and we are going to be moving it to the left side, and we are going to be getting the left side and putting here on the right side. So here and here. And with this too, we are gonna now choose the back right here, which will be exactly the same as this, but with the squares and not triangles. And we are kind of following the same pattern here. So one with applique, one without, one with, one without, and then continuing.
One eternity later.
So this is how it looks once you have the back completed with the front. As you can see, we don't have any colors matching here on the sides where the sewing here is gonna go. The sleeves will go right here and right here. So we don't have anything matching, so that's really good. So what we are going to be doing now is pinning the back squares exactly how we did here at the front. But remember that we are going to be sewing the front here separately and the back, because we are going to be doing something a little bit different, so it's easier for you to understand and to put everything together. All right, so we have the squares all pinned together. So to create the sleeves, we are going to just move one of the sides right on top of the back piece, or you can do both of them if you want. So move this one down, the back piece down. Remember not to pin here because we are doing it separately. And then this side we are placing it right on top here, and then this side we are placing right on top of the other side, just like this. So we have the front here, the neck part, and the back right here, and then the sleeves we are going to be attaching it right here. And also by having it like this, it helps us to see the colors we have here, so we don't match the colors here as well for the sleeves, so everything is going to be different. So we can do that. I'm going to be doing 3 squares by 3 squares for my sleeves. If I have to add more rows later, I can do that, but I think that 3 by 3 is gonna work for the length of my arms. I don't have a super long arms, so I think this is gonna work, but we are going to have to check this at the end once I have everything sewed in place. So here it's the shoulder, so you want to make sure that the middle square is right in the middle right here, and then we have these two on the side. You can see that these two are matching, so we have to change this one to another shade. Right, so I have one sleeve here completed. We are also going to be pinning this one in place, and also we have to remember that this one goes on this side here as well. It's something that we have to remember, but we can always come back to this later. This one here, it's my right sleeve, so what I'm gonna do, it's write it down in a piece of paper and attach it right at the top of the sleeves. All right, so I got here a little piece of paper, so I'm going to be writing here right and left, and I'm going to be pinning it right here, so I know that this is my right sleeve and then the other one will be my left sleeve. So I'm just going to be pinning it right here, and then also we know that this one here, it's the one that is going to be sewed with this part of the cardigan as well. So we know that here is our shoulders and here is the bottom of the sleeve. So this one is going to stay here now, and we are going to be doing the same on the other side. I'm gonna take a picture of this and I'm going to be adding it right here so you can see a better view of how this looks, because then you can see everything. I cannot fit all this here in the camera. So to sew this, we are kind of doing it separately. So the sleeves and then the front and the back and then the other part of the front. But everything is gonna come together at the end. You will see what I'm gonna do. It's quite different, the sewing that I'm going to be doing, because it's kind of with single crochets and sewing kind of this way and then that way. So let's see what we are going to be doing. I'm going to be showing you with the sleeves here because it's a little bit smaller, and then I can explain to you a little bit better, because for the front and the back is going to be exactly the same as we are going to be doing here for the sleeves as well. So now we are going to be choosing one of the colors that we have created here, the squares, to be our sewing yarn. And I have chosen this one here because I have a lot of yarn. As you can see, I have 500 grams here, a little bit less now because I've created the squares, but I have a lot of yarn. So this one, I'm going to be doing all the sewing and all the hemmings, including the cuffs and the detail going all the way around our cardigan. That's why I've chosen this one, because I have a lot of yarn. For this part here, I'm going to be using my 4mm hook, tapestry needle, and my small pair of scissors. So first we're going to be sewing vertically right here and then horizontally, but you can choose any to start with. You can start from here and then do this. I'm going to be starting right here, so I'm probably going to be zooming in here for you guys so you guys can see what I'm doing. We are going to be creating single crochets going up, so we're going to be having a super pretty sewing kind of right on top here of the squares. You will see it's really pretty. So first we are going to be starting right here with a slip knot and get prepared to start right here. So the first thing you want to do is to choose the middle chain from the corner right here. So we have 1, 2, 3, so go through the middle chain, and then you're going to do exactly the same to the other side. Go through the middle chain right here. And then here we are going to be creating a single crochet. I'm going to be removing this pin here because we are going to be doing this part now. And what we are going to be doing now is going through the next chain. We have to cover all of the stitches that we have right here. Just keep that in mind. It's very important that you cover all the stitches so the squares are nice and straight. And now we are going to be getting the front loops from each of the stitches from both sides, so this and this one, and then we are going to be creating a single crochet. So front loop from this one, front loop from the other one, and then single crochet. It's this simple. So front loop, and single crochet. Front loop, and then front loop, and then single crochet. All right, we are getting here at the end now. So what we are going to be doing, it's covering here just the very first chain from both of the sides, here and here. I'm going to be creating a single crochet right here. So now to transfer from this side to the other side, what we are going to be doing is creating the very last one here into the middle stitch. And then from here we are going to go to the other side. So find the middle stitch here. So we are following again the same steps as the beginning right here. Find the middle stitch, the middle chain from here. Find the middle from the other side right here, and then create a single crochet right here. This simple. And then from here you can just continue. Make sure that you do cover the next chain that we have here next to this one that we've started with. And then from here we are going to be continuing right here, grabbing the front loops only and creating our single crochets. So what I'm going to be doing now is finishing here this row, going all the way up here, and then I'm going to be starting this one, and then I'm going to be meeting you right here so I can show you how to transfer from this side to the other side right here, but it's basically following the same steps as we did here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I will be back with you in a second. So once you have created the first line of sewing right here, we can fasten this one off, and then we are going to be starting on this one so we can go this way so I can show you how to do it. So we are just going to be cutting the yarn here, and we are going to fasten off And then we are going to be starting again on the other side. So I'm going to be following exactly the same, and then I'll meet you right here to show you how to do that. So to go from this side to the other, we have to make sure that we have covered the last stitch here. So the last chain, we can skip this very last chain here, in which we have covered with these single crochets here. So just get this last chain that we have right here from both sides. And then we're going to be creating basically our last single crochet right here. So now we are going to go into here the other side. We are going to be finding that stitch that we are missing here on the other side, and then the other one here from the other side. There is one stitch here, one here, and then the one in the middle. So we are just grabbing the ones that we have to get. And then here, create a single crochet. And then from here, we are going to be continuing creating our single crochets all the way to the other side. So as you can see, this is how it looks. It just overlaps right here the other one, and it looks really pretty. If you want to have the same effect, this one under and this one on top, you want to make sure that you do first all the vertical lines and then you do the horizontal lines after. That's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be stopping right here so I can do all of my vertical lines, and then I will be doing the horizontal ones. So what I'm going to be doing is just undoing here, because I just wanted to show you how to do this part, and I'm going to be attaching into one of the vertical parts right here. So that's basically what we are going to be doing to sew the squares together. So now I'm just going to be explaining to you how you're going to be sewing the ones at the back and at the front, which is using the same technique, but it's going to be a little bit different because you will be having more squares and also more rows to connect in place. So I have just laid everything flat here in place again so I can explain to you how I'm going to be sewing, because it's using the same technique right here that I showed you here for my right sleeve for all of the rest of the project. So first thing, I'm going to be finishing this sleeve here. So I'm going to be doing the vertical lines first and then horizontally, repeating exactly the same to the other sleeve, and then I'm going to be sewing the vertical lines here from the back and the front. So I'm going to be starting on this side here, as you can see. I'm going to be going from here all the way to the front, connecting the shoulders here together too. And then I'm going to be doing here the back. Leave the front here open. Remember not to sew the front because we are going to be adding a little detail here. And then we are going to be doing exactly the same here on the other side, following the same steps as I showed you here for the sleeves. And then when you finished all this, we are going to be sewing the sleeves here in place using the same method. So you're going to be attaching the yarn right here, and then you're going to be creating a sewing right here connecting the sleeves. I'm going to be doing a time lapse of this one here for you guys so you can see what I'm doing, but it's basically the same technique. And then when I come back, I'll show you how I'm going to be closing the cardigan here at the bottom, basically under the sleeves. Look at this, everyone. Oh my goodness, it's looking super pretty, right, Lily? Right, Lily is looking super pretty, our cardigan. Oh my god, I'm super excited. So what we have to do now is just sew here the bottom of the sleeves and also the sides here on both sides close. And I'm going to be using so I'm going to be using the same technique to close here the sides and the bottom. So as you can see, I have finished sewing here the sides close. So both of the sides. So now we have the sleeves kind of completed. This one here is completed. As you can see, I've created the cuffs here already, and I did quite nicely and tight here around my wrist because that's the style that I went for. But you can actually leave like this, but then you would need to add probably another square here so it's a little bit longer, because like this is kind of like around here, because I wanted to add the cuffs. So if you want to keep it like this, then you have to add one more square and then add a little finishing, maybe just with single crochets going around. So this is something that you can actually choose. So I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to be doing the cuffs. So the first thing here for the cuffs, we are going to be creating 2 rows with decreases going all the way around, and then we are going to be creating the ribbing right here, so the actual cuffs. So you can choose any stitches going around here, the bottom of the sleeves. I'm going to be choosing this one right here. I'm going to be attaching my yarn with a single crochet, and then I'll go up with a chain of 2. And then into the next stitch, I'm going to be creating a double crochet. So now to create the decreases, we are going to first create the first part of the double crochet. And then we are going to yarn over, pull through the first 2, keeping the last one here on the hook. And then we are going to be doing into the next stitch here the same technique, as you can see. And then once you have the 3 loops on the hook, you're going to yarn over and pull through all those loops together. So that's a decrease. And we are going to be doing this all the way around, decreasing 2 stitches every time we create a decrease. When you get here towards the end, we are going to be creating the last decrease right here. And then we can connect here to the other side with a slip stitch. So once you've done the first row, we are going to be doing one more row with the decreases. So now you have to check the opening right here and to just try until you have the sizing that you want. I wanted to do quite tight, so I'm going to be doing one more row with decreases. So now we are going to be following the same steps as the previous row. So creating the decreases on top of the stitches that we can find, and then going all the way around creating the decreases. So I'll meet you again right at the end. So I'm going to be creating my last decrease right here. And then we are going to be connecting here to the other side with a slip stitch. So now we are going to be creating the pattern here with the cuffs, and it's super simple to do that one. And I have a tutorial on YouTube as well on how to make that. It's going to be a little bit slower than how I'm going to be explaining to you guys in today's video, because today is more like a vlogging and showing you how to do it, but I think you can follow the way that I'm going to be explaining in today's video too. So we are going to be starting with a chain of 3, and then we are going to be using the decreases here to create our stitches. So what you're going to be doing is going underneath the decrease, and then right here we are going to be creating a double crochet. And then you're going to go into the next one, but this time we are going to get from the back like this, and then double crochet. So now into the next one, you're gonna go underneath, and then you're going to create a double crochet right here, and then into the next one we are gonna go backwards and then around the decrease, and then right here a double crochet. So this is going to be the first row. The next one is going to be a little bit easier because we are going to be following the double crochets. So I'm going to be creating this first row here, and then I will show you the next one too. So once you have created here the last one, so this one is going to be my last one, we are going to be finding the chain 3 right here, and then we are going to go right on top of the chain 3 and slip stitch. So now we are going to be creating the next row, and then we are going to be starting right here with the chain of 3, and we are going to be starting with the pattern. So you're going to be checking the next stitch. If it's basically sticking out, you're going to be grabbing the stitch here from the front, and if it's kind of towards the back, you're going to be grabbing the stitch here towards the back. So this one is kind of sticking out, so this one we are going to be doing at the front, and then the next one we know that it's at the back. So this is basically the pattern that we are going to be doing here for the cuffs and the hemmings and the ribbings and everything here for our cardigan. So I'm just gonna go all the way around right here. When I get at the end, I will slip stitch right at the top of the chain 3 from the other side, and here you can do as many rows as you want. So for this one right here, I've done 2 rows with the decreases that I already showed you, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 rows with the cuffs, with the pattern that I just showed you. And this is how the pattern looks like. So super pretty for cuffs and also hemmings if you want to do. So now I'm just going to be finishing my cuffs. So now here for the neckline, the front, and also here at the bottom, the hemmings and the finishings right here, we are going to be doing 1 row. You can attach into any of the stitches here because it's going to be one entire pattern going all the way around. We are not going to be stopping. As you can see, we can actually go all the way around, and we are going to be creating 1 row with double crochets going all the way around, and then as many rows you want to create here the finishing. And if I add the buttons, I am going to be using the gaps that we have here into this stitch here as the buttonhole, so we don't have to add any extra stitches or anything like that. I'm super excited to show you how it looks because it's already looking super pretty. So here we have our Christmas cardigan. So this is how it looks like. It looks super pretty. I'm super excited on how this looks. And look at all this detail, all the little appliques, and it looks so Christmassy. I'm super excited about this one. And also, as you can see, I've added a few buttons here going down this side of the cardigan, and I think it added a little detail to the cardigan. It looks more like a cardigan as well. So I really liked it with the buttons. So you can decide if you want to do with buttons, without buttons. As I told you at the beginning of the video, this was more like a vlog than a tutorial. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to give a massive thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe here to the channel and turn on the notification bell to receive a notification every time I post a new video. So thank you so much for watching today's video. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year as well. And yeah guys, thank you so much for watching. Bye! Ficou legal meu card? Christmas craziness?